We went through a catastrophe level event internationally.
Yes.
And I don't feel like the world is talking about that enough.
No, there was never an easing into what this next stage of life looks like. It's almost as if we all had that like 3-year collective trauma. And then it's like, okay, we're over that. So there was like no national days of mourning. There's no like exhibit that we go to like pay respects to the lives we've lost. I don't think that we have really tackled like the grief that a lot of us are still carrying, both related to lives lost, but also the loss of experiences, the loss of expectations about what those years would be. And now the world still looks very different. And so, I mean, I think that there's just so much that feels unsettled for a lot of people, and the exhaustion people are feeling, the burnout, I think is actually grief that people are not able to name.
Shall we 5 minutes in? Let's talk about it. What are the grieving steps and the processes that will help us slowly but surely be settled in a world that's unsettled? Like, how can we become settled in ourselves?
So I think the first step is acknowledging it, like we're doing here, right? Like really paying attention to, wow, what has this been like for me? And what does this like next phase look like? Because I think a lot of us are experiencing dissonance because it feels like the world has moved on, but like we feel very different, right? Like we have established different values, different habits. And so I think slowing down and acknowledging that is the first step. And I think also talking about it. So whether that be in your circles, with a therapist, with your pastor, like I think being able to say those things out loud is really important. And also journaling, you know, so maybe if you're not ready to say it out loud, asking yourself some questions about how you look different, how do you feel different 4 to 5 years later, like what kinds of things feel very different for you, and what does this next phase of your life look like? Because I think we struggle when we try to hold on to who we were before the pandemic or even in the pandemic, when we are very, very different now. And so we have to accept the reality that we are very different now and the world is different. And so how do we reconcile the two of those?